up, guys? It's your boy Kittens coming back to you guys with a discussion talking about what I think is going to be the next competitive use legends and rank the most used. I do feel like there's going to be a bit of a switch. Some of the things that people aren't really talking about, some people are saying, hey, there's not really any nerfs, there's not really any buffs. Well, the new map has a ton of zip lines. I had some awkward moments where I'm walking around with Pathfinder and I don't recognize the map yet. I don't know the map yet. I like walked out into an open area. I'm like, all right, I'm about to use my zip line. I looked at the next building that we were about to go to, and there's literally zip lines all over the building. So I was walking over, and I'm just realizing that a lot of these movement characters have a subtle nerf by each of the areas in the new map having that zip line to get from place to place. One of the only scenarios that I can think of where there's a movement character that's still usable and still incredibly powerful in high ranked scenarios is Valkyrie, because you'll still end up in choke points. You know, one of the unique things about this map is there's actually a huge amount of choke points, more choke points than we've seen before in other competitive maps. So something like Valkyrie's movement will still be useful because you get stuck, you get your boys, you go to the next town. Now, the interesting to think about for these zip lines is that most of the movement characters really won't matter anymore outside of Valkyrie. The idea being you use, let's say we Valkyrie from one town to the next one to reposition, well, there's a zip line there already. So if you're going to use your flight ability to do that, you might as well have played a lifeline and you'd have a care package, or you might as well have played a caustic and you have your alt sitting. You might as well have played Horizon. You know, you have your ultimate hanging out. There's a lot of different scenarios where you'd rather just be a different character and not have the flight now because you just can move from town to town. Again, outside of that little Valkyrie scenario. Now, the thing that I'm really enjoying and seeing the most of is building play. Building play seems to be the most powerful thing. Just from playing a lot of Catalyst, I've played a lot of Catalyst, and I'm actually really surprised at how powerful her building abilities are inside of those close quarter scenarios, like being able to lock down multiple doors, not being able to break them, being able to choose to open them when you want to. Your opponents can't open them. There's a lot of different in betweens that just make building play incredibly powerful. So for me, my two picks for potentially the most used characters, and this might be weird because I normally won't really pick one of the new characters, but I honestly think it's going to be Rampart and Catalyst. No connection. The game's like, you're not doing anything, bro. Okay, so yeah, so I think the two biggest legends that we're going to end up seeing is Rampart and Catalyst. For whatever reason, you know, I think that Rampart kind of offers you, for whatever reason, quote unquote, whatever. So, like, because of the building play being so good, Rampart is one way, gives you those extra doors and then extra damage when you're inside the buildings, but also gives you mobile structures when you're walking around. One part of the building play that is really strong is reinforcing, but you're going to want those extra walls when you're just walking around and not in a building. So that's why I think Rampart is that little niche of like you're just gonna want those walls on this map, while also enhancing the building play. And then Catalyst being another one that I think is just a surprise pick. Her ability to lock a door, I think, is what's gonna end up being the reason she gets picked. I honestly do. So outside of Catalyst plus Rampart, I think we're gonna see Mad Maggie plus Rampart. And again, because building play is so powerful, you're gonna end up with so many people using Ramparts, so many people using Catalysts, or so many people using something like Newcastle as an in-between of like you're doing building play where you want the structure, but you also want a revive or some kind of health character. So that's kind of the in between. That third character that I think that a lot of people are going to end up picking outside of a movement character is probably going to be a decision between Seer for a little bit of, whatnot, or they're going to choose to do some kind of health or extra revive character like Lifeline or Newcastle. The interesting thing is that I think the paradigm is going to be between teams that are choosing between a Seer character for a little bit of movement, choosing between that and a health character so that you can have fast revives, fast health, and then the fast revives, fast health actually directly combat Seer. So, like if you're in a building and they're scanning you, well, if you have a Watson healing everyone, or you have a Lifeline reviving people, or you have the still with the quick revives, it just doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter as much if those three characters are present giving passive health. So I think it's going to be an interesting season. It's so much to think about, but my honest to goodness picks are probably Rampart, Mad Maggie, and Catalyst, with some chances of people using some Seer, some Lifeline, some Newcastle, maybe even some Mirage. You know, a little bit of because those fast revives. And the reason I point out these fast revives and passive health characters is because fast revive characters, even Gibraltar as well. You know, that's another one. He does fast revives. I forgot. He also puts up structures. Wow, my boy Gibby didn't even bring him up yet. But yeah, so I think when you're inside of that building area, those fast revives are really powerful because what happens when someone downs you and then your catalyst locks the door down? Well, they can't do anything now. You're getting the revive, your guy's getting picked up, and there you go. You're on your way to a possible win. And so, you know, again, you know, behind those building structures, those fast revive and passive health characters become extremely powerful. So, that is my guess for this season. I think we're gonna, yeah, there's so much in between. Nothing super, super definite. Before, I definitely picked off like two or three, but yeah, so I think we're gonna have some mix of five or six. So, it's been your boy Kims. Peace.